Okay, I'm stuck in my car waiting to pick up my kid, and this sunset keeps chasing me, and my phone battery is down to 7%, but I want to make one more video. There was a really important question that got asked in today's National Indivisible call with Ezra and Leah. It was about a statement that Senator Chris Murphy made yesterday. The senator said this, quote, "We can't be preparing for the 2026 election. It might not come. All of our focus right now has to be on protecting the democracy, about stopping the corruption." So the question was, this is a strong statement from Senator Murphy. Do you agree that a 2026 election may not come? If not, why? If so, it seems like the movement is still too tepid to protect democracy and stop corruption. What do you think? Leah, one of the co-founders of Indivisible, answered this question, and I really, one, agreed with everything that she said, and two, thought it was a very insightful answer. She said she appreciates how Senator Murphy is sounding the alarm in a body of people who are not alarmed enough. Completely agree with that. We, as the American people, as activists, as people who care about democracy, we need to be elevating the voices of the fighters in the Democratic Party, of the progressives who understand the dire circumstances we are in and are prepared to meet the moment, are meeting the moment. The sharp contrast between them and establishment Democrats who continue to fail us time and time again. It's so important that we support those folks who are working hard to fight for us. And I definitely believe Senator Murphy is one of those. Leah said something that I think about a lot, and I maybe should have delved into it more when I talked about, in multiple videos, all of the folks who say there's not going to be any 2026 midterms, don't bother voting, voting is rigged, or elections are not going to happen again. Because I think she's spot on, and I completely agree. And when I made those videos, I was speaking out of that mindset. She said, we live in two worlds right now. She said, there's Earth 1, and I would say America 1, where we have to continue to do the advocacy to protect legislation that we care about. For example, fighting to stop the SAVE Act, fighting to stop this big, awful budget resolution bill. And at the same time, we have to continue to prepare for elections. I mean, there are elections happening every week across this country. That we have to go really, really big for elections. We have to have such massive voter turnout that they can't cheat. Our turnout has to overrun their attempts to suppress the vote. We have to do all of that stuff, push for legislation, push to protect us from harmful legislation, and work at get out the vote movements and work to support elections and election integrity. We have to show up and vote in massive quantities. She said all of that is really important stuff that we have to continue to focus on and not undermine any of that. And that's exactly what I have been saying. We cannot undermine voting. We cannot cede elections in advance to Trump. We cannot be doomers and act like there is no point, because all we are doing when we do that is suppressing voter turnout. We must operate with confidence that midterms are going to happen. We do not give up midterms in advance. Just like we protest so that we can preserve the exercising of our First Amendment rights, right? We go out on a Saturday, we protest, we bring our signs, we march. Everything is fine there. We have every expectation that we should be able to do that. That's our First Amendment right. We don't give up that right in advance. We don't become so intimidated that we give up the right to protest in advance. And the same thing is true with elections. We set the expectation that the midterms will happen. We say everybody is prepared to vote and vote in huge numbers. It is much harder for them to try and do hinky shit when we are ready to vote, when we have set a very clear expectation. We have not let them normalize the possibility of getting rid of elections. Don't let them do that. Don't let them change the expectation. We set the expectation. There will be midterms and we will vote. We will all vote. So that's kind of, as Leah calls it, Earth 1, I say America 1, and then there is Earth/America 2. And that's this kind of parallel reality that we have to prepare for, that we live in a system where the old rules don't necessarily apply, right? Under the America 1 version, we are continuing to plan. We are expecting the normal procedures and normal laws to be upheld, right? We are not ceding that ground in advance. We are upholding that expectation and planning accordingly. But under America 2, we know that the old rules are not necessarily going to be followed, and that a would-be authoritarian government is trying to maximize its power. They are trying to see what they can get away with. They are trying to break the rules. They are breaking the law every day and saying, who's going to hold me accountable? Who's going to stop me? And part of the way that we do stop them is that we continue to be outraged if they do something that veers away from the normal expected process. We must manage and maintain expectations. We don't let Trump set new expectations. We manage and we maintain the expectations that elections are going to happen. We cannot give them power that they do not have, y'all. Leah was good to remind everybody that elections are administered on a state and local level, not by the federal government. Trump does not have the power to stop elections. So why would you give him that power? He tries to steal power all the time that he does not have. And so many Americans just like freely let him do it. They say, oh, he says he has the power to do this, so okay, I guess he does, when he doesn't. For example, executive orders, right? People who say, oh, Trump, signed a new law today or passed a new law today. No, he signed an executive order that Project 2025 cronies or ChatGPT wrote. That's not the same thing as a law. An executive order is not law, and we're seeing over and over and over and over again his executive orders are being challenged in the courts, and the courts are saying, that's not legal, you can't do that. Remember how scared we all were that he was going to take away birthright citizenship, and the court was like, abso-fucking-lutely not. That's not a thing you can sign into being with an executive order. You can't just override the Constitution with an executive order. Are you fucking kidding me? And it needs to be the same way here. Donald Trump doesn't have the power to stop elections. Are you fucking kidding me? No. We know they're going to try shenanigans. As I've said before, Republicans have been trying to steal elections and cheat for decades. It's called gerrymandering. It's called dumping people out of the voter rolls. It's called trying to get ballots thrown away after the election. These are tactics they've been trying for a long time, and that's why it's so important that pro-democracy organizations like Democracy Docket are going after them in the courts and stopping this shit. This is nothing new, and we do not set the expectation that they're allowed to engage in these behaviors. Okay, sorry, my phone died and I had to charge it up a little bit. So as I was saying, we have to have a massive get out the vote movement. We have to not only expect that elections will happen, we have to vote in them. And then when they do happen, we have to make sure that the results of the election are verified and upheld. We have to build a massive majority that will beat them at the polls, but also the massive mass movement of tens of millions of people so that if they try some hinky shit, if they try to disrespect and ignore the results of the election, that we are there to take to the streets and make sure that the elections are honored. It's that 1-2 punch. We've got to vote. We've got to believe in the electoral process. We have to expect that it is going to happen. And then we must vote in massive numbers. But we also have to build that massive coalition of people that are poised and ready to take to the streets if the results of the election are not respected by this regime. We are at a place now where it is up to us to make sure that democracy happens. It's up to us to protect our own rights. So unfortunately, a lot of the safeguards have fallen through, and it's up to us to make sure that we vote in elections, but it's up to us to defend the results of them as well. So we need to be getting our communities ready. We need to be pushing for get out the vote movements. We need to be volunteering as election workers. We need to make sure that we all vote in every single election, and we make sure that all of our neighbors do as well. And then we need to be building those grassroots resistance networks so that if it is required of us to defend our own elections, that we are ready to do it. We are ready to take to the streets in mass protest, just like they did in Serbia, to ensure that our election integrity is upheld, to ensure that the Republicans don't cheat, and to make sure that the votes are honored.